back in the early 70s, I was able to go to Italy for the first time, and my grandfather, God bless him, at the time told me, he says, he made me promise to him that I would visit the relatives in Italy, who he had just recently resumed contact with after many, many years. And I thought, well, okay, Grandpa was about 21 at the time. I said, I'll do that for you. I'll make a separate little side trip there. Because actually I wasn't going to be in Italy. It was in Europe touring with a theater company here out of Chicago, the Organic Theater. So I get to Italy. This was 1974. And we make this side trip. It was then my wife and I, in fact, just got married. We make the side trip, and I tell her, I says, we're going to go visit these relatives. They don't know us. We don't know them. They're part of my grandfather's family, and we'll just stop in. We'll knock on the door. We'll have a cup of coffee, and you know they don't even speak English. My Italian's bad, but it'll be fine. Don't worry. Then we'll continue our travels. You know. She said, great. To make a long story short, we get to the door of the house. I find it, a small little town, Acquaviva della Fonte in Bari, and take the train from Rome, and up. I get there, get to the house, knock on the door opens. Before I can say anything, this woman answers the door. She looks at me, and I say, in my limited Italian, I said, Io Giuseppe Mantegna. Of course, my grandfather had called ahead, said we were coming. This woman just goes, Giuseppe! And she grabs me and hugs me. It was like all of a sudden I was the long-lost son that she hadn't seen in 30 years. Next thing we know, we're there 12 days. And I mean, there's more, this would take longer than you have tape to explain about those 12 days, but all I can tell you, it was 12 of the most remarkable days of my life. And when we left, I mean, it was tears and crying, and I felt like I was leaving, you know, the ancestral home. And that was the beginning of it. Now, I mean, that was over 20 years ago, and over 30 years ago. And I'm very close to those people, to that family.